Support WrestleTalk!
It's WWE Clash at the Castle predictions time. I am Luco in DAD, and that is Oliver Davis. Please do click the thumbs up button, press subscribe if you haven't already, and let us know down in the comments below who you think the winners and losers will be at WWE Clash at the Castle in our home nation of Great Britain.
Yes.
It's in Wales.
Well, no, Wales it's like a county. It's a county of England.
It's a massive county, which has got its own counties within.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so it is in Wales this weekend. You and I will not be attending this show. However, because we've got our own party that we're doing, details on that later on in this episode. But let's get down to this predictions, because this is the full card. And ladies and gentlemen, this full card is 6 matches long.
You're looking at a 3-hour 15 show. This is beautiful. There's no pre-show nonsense. The pre-show is back to what it should be. Booker T having crap takes. Shucky ducky quack.
Let's kick things off with the one that was announced on last Monday's Raw. Edge and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day. I thought this was going to be a 6-person tag match with Beth Phoenix and Rhea Ripley there. However, it is just straight up tag.
Well, I really thought they were heading in the 6-person match because Rhea Ripley has been such a physical force in all the angles they've done. It's like Ripley has been built up to be the China-like threat, even beyond like Damian Priest. And they've done a really good job with it. But the big awkward thing is there's only so long you can tease out, well, I'm going to hit a woman. Until
I've got my kendo stick.
Yeah, until she has to get her receipt eventually. They don't tend to want men hitting women, which I get. That's I can understand that.
Some people just don't like it. But since Triple H has taken over, it's had like a bit of a reset button press on it. It's like, actually, the story is now about Rhea Ripley doming Dom.
Yeah.
And that's the real crux of this story here.
I'm not fully into it. I'm looking forward to it to move to the next stage, which is, I predict, Dominic sides with Judgment Day and costs his old familiar.
They had a backstage segment on Raw this week where Dominic effectively said, by the way, I'm turning this weekend. Because, he sat there and be like, look, it's fine, Dad. You don't want to tag with me. You want to tag with your old boyfriend. I will be by your side this coming Saturday, stabbing you in the back.
Yeah. And he's also just, all this relationship with him and Rhea. He handed over the kendo stick to Ripley when he could have just hit her in the face.
Could have been, yeah.
But he's like, no. You take it, master.
You take it, mum.
And he just turns around.
Please, mummy, you have this instead.
I've been a naughty
I'm also going with Judgment Day.
Yep.
For very much the same reason. I think this is where Dominic does the turn and sides with the Judgment Day, who, by the way, I think is one of the groups that has benefited the most from the Triple H takeover, because up until Triple H was in charge, they were a joke.
Yeah.
Like a running joke of a useless group that never won anything.
It's like when I see them in singles action, I'm like, yes, Balor, yes, Priest, awesome, Ripley. But whenever they come together for a promo, I'm like, oh, you guys are pretty lame.
Up next for the Intercontinental Championship. Oh, lads, are you ready for this? It is Gunther versus Sheamus. Now, when I interviewed Sheamus, all he wanted to talk about was finally winning the Intercontinental Championship. He's done everything else. Won the Rumble, Mr. Money in the Bank. He's won the World Heavyweight title. He's won the US title, Tag Team Championships, but he's never won the Intercontinental Championship. So this really does mean a lot to him. Last time Gunther had a match in Cardiff was one against Tyler Bate for NXT TakeOver. It was Cardiff, wasn't it? It wasn't Blackpool. And he just absolutely knocked 10 belts of cack out of him. Like, they won't need lights, because their chest will guide everyone home with how red they are.
I'm really excited for this. It's a great story. But it's ultimately just two guys in a kind of tweener sense. I'm going to find out who is the tougher guy. What I like most about this, though, is I don't know who's going to win. And it really reminds me of the old takeovers. You're like, I can see storyline justifications for this going either way. I cannot wait for this match. It might actually be the match I'm most looking forward to from a
Samesies.
just a slap.
Consensual violence.
But if I had to pick, I'm gonna say Sheamus.
Oh, Sheamus gets the. I mean, I thought that Sheamus might win here as well. I think we are possibly heading towards a Pete Dunne revival. Ditching away Butch, ditching away from the Brawling Brutes, becoming the Bruiserweight again. What better way to do that than to go up against Sheamus for the IC title, firmly establish him as a title contender, this, that, and the other. Having said that, they are doing quite a heck of a job in protecting Gunther and making him feel like a final boss. That I don't know if Sheamus is the guy. My prediction for this is Gunther.
Okay.
I think Gunther retains here. And if only because I think that this is going to be one of those both beaten within an inch of their life, but Gunther was just the better man on that day. But Sheamus loses nothing in the loss.
It'll pale in comparison to what Rhea Ripley's going to do to Dominic Mysterio, though.
With that kendo stick.
That's pointy.
Up next, you mentioned it earlier, Matt Riddle got his name back on Raw this week versus Seth freaking Rollins. He still unfortunately has his middle name. This is a feud that was building up to SummerSlam, and then they did not do the SummerSlam match because they wanted to do it at Clash of the Castle instead, and have done 4 weeks of excellent build for this. This has been, I think, a wonderfully built feud, and I really am looking forward to seeing these two finally get their hands on each other at the pay-per-view.
I love that you're into it. I wouldn't say excellent. It's been a normal feud for 3 weeks, but the go-home angle on Monday's episode of Raw was outstanding. It's when they come back from break and they say, this is what happened when we left that interview. Seth drops the gimmick, and I realized, I love you, Seth, but your gimmick is keeping me at arm's length. I cannot take you seriously in the outfits or with the stupid laugh. He dropped all of it, and he just went into cold, manipulative Triple H's prodigy. Well, let me tell you about your family, Matt Riddle. Your wife divorced you, she took the kids, and nobody wants to see your bitch ass anymore. That gave Riddle the fuel to genuinely swear. And I was like, this is pissed off Riddle. We had goofy stoner Riddle just a couple of months ago, and it doesn't feel jarring. One of my most anticipated on the card, purely because of a 30-second angle. I'm going to go with my heart. It could go either way. I'm going Riddle. They need baby faces.
They do need baby faces. Yeah, I mean, I was leaning more towards Seth, but then I thought Seth was going to win at SummerSlam, and I think maybe now they do Riddle here instead. Do you know what? No, I'm sticking with my guns. I'm sticking with Seth winning on this occasion here. I do think, though, there's every chance this match gets thrown out. So you could build to a cage match on Raw in a couple of weeks' time.
I like that. I actually think you're right there. I want to get into a place where DQs and finishes like that on TV or pay-per-views are actual tools to tell a story like that. Do you want to hear my major hope for this?
Please do.
It's a British crowd, which have, I'm sorry to say, Americans, a much better vocabulary of chants. Riddle kind of made a lot of his name in this country on the indie circuit. We saw him a bunch of times in Rev Pro in London, and the chant was, bro, always believe in your soul. You've got the power to, bro.
You're indestructible. Always believe in. You are bro.
If that travels around all 70,000 fans, that could be special.
Could be awesome, couldn't it? Let's go next to the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship next, as Liv Morgan defends her belt against Shayna Baszler, another person who's had a huge reset pressed and just being like, oh, we need to rehabilitate your character, which has been broken and driven into the ground by the old regime. Let's make you the Queen of Spades again. Let's just do the Submission Magician. Let's literally just make you NXT Shayna Baszler again.
Kevin Owens, here's your shirt back.
She's going up against Liv Morgan, who I don't think has had a great run under Triple H so far, because she is going in as a huge underdog here against this absolute killer in Shayna Baszler. My prediction is that she is going to remain on top, though. I think she is going to retain her title. I just hope that they come up with a way to protect Baszler in the defeat and not have people boo Morgan again when she goes back to SmackDown next Friday.
Yeah, because you do need to give Liv some credible wins where it's not just all flukes. Although, you know, if Shayna won, then all of a sudden, hey, with her friend Ronda, there's some friction there. I think a Shayna-Ronda match down the line is far more box office than a Liv Ronda feud. But maybe
they'll do fake MMA though, and that's never good on TV. What they're going to do?
I'm going to go with Liv too.
Up next was a match that I was quite excited for, and I'm now slightly less excited for. It's Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. I was really into Bayley's act, and their loss that they had on Raw over those tag team titles really did make them look like just people on the roster.
It's been plagued with issues where people have had to be pulled either through injuries or mitigating circumstances. But I always thought this will be worth it because Sky and Kai are gonna win. They'll have the titles. They'll have cool momentum going into the pay-per-view match, the 6-person. Awesome. And after that, boom, straight into Banks and Naomi versus Sky and Kai.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Too correct. Because I had this vision in my head of Kai and Sky with their tag team titles, Banks and Naomi coming out with their tag team titles, being like, we never never lost these titles. I am less into it now with Raquel and Aaliyah. If that is how you're bringing Banks and Naomi back. I also don't think that's happening here at this show either.
It's gone from what felt like a proper main event women's division feud to a filler feud to bide time until the singles match. Yeah. And one of the main things I liked about it was the filler feud felt just as important as when that singles title match of Belair versus Bayley will eventually happen. It's got to be Bayley, Kai, and Sky winning.
I think so.
Like, with Bayley to keep the story going.
With Bayley pinning Belair and using that to set up the singles title program. But it comes to our main event. It's a singles match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, the UEU Championship. Roman Reigns defending against Britain's own Drew McIntyre.
I can't wait.
This is going to be great.
Like, Drew was just subtly but significantly dropped the little swordy, goofy parts of his presentation. I feel like they booked this story so well, where you've got Kevin Owens waiting in the wings regardless of who wins.
And Karrion Kross.
And Karrion Kross, of course. So this could have been such a predictable thing, where the only seed of doubt is, oh yeah, but Drew's from up the road. Maybe they'll give him the win. Well, I am genuinely now, I think Drew's going to win. 2 years. There's no need to give Roman a longer reign than this. So I'm saying Drew is going to win.
I think Drew's winning as well. For the last couple of weeks, I've really had this in my head. Credit to WWE on this. They have been building this match for quite some time, really doing everything they can to keep Roman and Drew apart. Made much easier when Roman stopped coming to work. But now we're finally getting Roman versus Drew in Drew's home nation. Bucky O'Hare is. But I think that Drew's going to get a great reception. And I think if you're going to put the belt on Drew, now is the time. And I also think we are heading to a period of time where we're going to be separating the belts out again. I could see them at the next pay-per-view, Drew having 2 matches. One against Owens, one against Kross. One's for the WWE Championships, one's for the Universal Championship. We split those belts up.
So eventually on a pay-per-view, he wins the first one, but he loses the main event.
I'm super duper excited. We have got a Clash at the Castle party this coming Saturday. It is sold out. I'm thrilled to say.
We sold out.
We sold out indeed. And a few people have asked, are we still going to be doing live reactions? Well, I am afraid to say, you will be able to see us doing live reactions if you can't make it there in person with, including guest list, about 250 SWAF Nation members.
Which we'll announce as 39,142. Make sure to subscribe to WrestleTalk Podcast and the WrestleTalk News channel to see those live reactions this Saturday.
It's going to be very exciting. And I've just had word, Tempest is going to be back in London. He will be defending the Jam That Championship this coming Saturday.
I'm ready.
You?
Yeah, put me in. Put me in. I'm gonna take on Tempest. This summer of Tempest is over. The son of Davis will shine on the watered lands that he has left and ruined. Imagine winning a belt and then not defending it all summer because of scheduling issues. That's not right. And in front of a live audience, our first one ever, in person, I will pin him. I will literally pin him. Shoulders to the mat. Are we going to get a mat? Are we going to get a canvas?
Or just the floor.
The floor.
It's a clean floor.
We'll make sure to clean and sterilize the floor, and I will pin Tempest's shoulders to the mat. Sterilized floor, and count. Every single one of the people in attendance will go 1, 2, 3. And your new Jam That Champion, Oliver Davis.
In his home country.
My home country of Wales, I will win the belt.
It's in London.
Against the evil foreign heel.
So it is going to be Ollie versus Tempest this Saturday at Clash at the Castle, and our live watch-along party. So join us on the WrestleTalk podcast channel. Subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mum, tell your pets. It's gonna be jam. Jam that jam, everyone.